welcome y'all to Backwoods Obscura, a podcast dedicated to the lore, legends, and myths surrounding the creatures that may lurk in your backyard. My name's Hewitt.
I'm Chris.
Hey Chris, how you doing?
It's been a month. Like, not gonna lie, real life has gotten in the way of
A lot. Yeah, because it's been a month since we've recorded. We have,
yeah,
regardless of what you at home have heard.
yeah, and we're not gonna get into everything because it's personal stuff.
It is.
But like, there's some other stuff that's going on that's positive, some that's been negative, but just in general, a lot of things have happened.
I mean, shit, we got a wedding in like a couple weeks.
Yeah,
and Extra Life in a couple weeks.
yeah. So if you're listening to this and you're new to what we do something called Extra Life, which is what we do on our other channel,
Team Bonus Action.
Yeah, and it's not really connected to us, or it's not really, we don't connect them, but it is something that we do, and we like to have people talk about it because it's a charity event that we do, and technically the entire channel is charity.
Yeah.
Everything that we do on the channel is any equipment, anything we set up is out of our own pocket. Anything that we get, any donations, all goes to charity, whatever charity we're doing. But we're doing Batson's Children's Hospital in connection to, what was it again?
Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals through Extra Life. Every dime you donate to us will go to them. But our goal this year with the Team Bonus Action is, our goal for the last 3 years is $1,500. Because that is how much it is for a out-of-network anesthesiologist, MRI, and a hotel stay.
Right.
Because my son is neurodivergent and is also epileptic. Recently diagnosed with this, but when he was younger, he had a in vitro stroke. And we've had to go do MRIs and a bunch of other stuff like that. And he's doing fine. Like, he's thriving.
Yeah, he's...
But the reason $1,500 is the thing is, we know, my wife and I personally know what is a out-of-network cost for those items and getting that bill. So we want to try to pass the love along and try to help people out. So
it's kind of like, what is it? Pay it forward.
Pay it forward.
Yeah. But anyway, we're doing that at the end of the month. As of recording this, it's early October. At the end of October, right before the election, is when we do this. So it's going to be November 2nd.
November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. So it'll be also on Knox's birthday.
Oh, hell yeah. So we gotta do something for Knox's birthday.
I've already gotten some stuff.
Okay, I'm going to have to get him some stuff. But yeah, just getting into that, I wanted to just get that out now. So if you're interested in watching us play D&D or watching us just be silly on camera,
that is 100% what's going to happen.
Go ahead and check out Extra Life. Or if you just don't want to, but you want to contribute, you can go to teambonusaction.com, or you can go to our Twitch channel, Team Bonus Action.
Yep, it's Team Bonus Action on everything social media wise except for Twitter, which is bonus_team.
Yeah. And you can just go and donate. And we don't care if you actually watch. We just hope that
actually watch, because there's a couple of these games that are going to be just hilarious.
Yeah. Well, I'm coming from the portion where I'm like, if you're not going to watch, at least
$5. Give us a $5, please.
Just give us $5, just because we're going to pass it on to Children's Batson's Hospital. But anyway, what we really need to talk about is what my birthday present was.
Oh yeah, we had a blast with that.
Yeah.
We went to Vicksburg for Chris's birthday. Well, a little late. We went in September.
Yeah. My birthday's in August. I turned 37. I'm on the tail end of my 30s now.
Young bastard.
Yeah, you're going to be in your 40s.
Yeah, I will enter my 40s this year. Yes. Yeah, thank you for that.
I'm still trying to figure out what I want to get you.
I thought we were going to get tattoos.
We are getting Oh yeah, we are getting tattoos.
Yeah, you need to.
God damn it!
You need to call about that.
My wife made fun of me because I was like, I told Ruby that we were thinking about getting tattoos, and she's like, "You're gonna get matching tattoos with your friend?"
Yes.
Yeah, and she's like,
We need to get Goosehead Jet on this for a secondary tattoo that's just all of us get a different beer bottle or something on us. Like, You get a Stein, I get a mug.
Well, we were originally going to do our steampunk stuff, but then you thought about doing like the dice. I already have a dice tattoo. I got a D20 on me.
We'll figure that out. We will figure out tattoos, but I think tattoos for my 40th would actually be a pretty cool.
Yeah. So we went to McRaven House, which is
the most haunted house in all of Mississippi.
Yeah. But before that, I really wanted to get into the stuff.
You want to talk about the whole trip? Do you want to talk about the hotel?
So I picked the hotel. And I am what you call cheap.
Yep.
And it wasn't in a bad part of town. It was on the highway.
It was next to the interstate. Back in the day, that was a really nice hotel because it was across from the outlet mall in Vicksburg.
But the
now has murder lights because they just flicker all night long.
So the first red flag is like when we were getting into the room and there was a towel in the way because apparently
the door jamb is not square, so there was a gap at the bottom that allowed air in. And a lizard.
Oh, there was a lizard, but a lizard can be a lizard. But then there was the issue of the bathroom
door jamb being chewed up by a dog. I hope a dog.
I hope a dog. I hope it wasn't like someone just having fun in there.
Well, we'll get to that.
Oh no, we'll get to that.
The shower. You know what? I took a shower there. You didn't. It had two shower heads going at the same time because it was a handy-capable room.
Oh, I mean
that's also why you could fit.
That's
why you could have fit a whole bed in the bathroom we were in.
Yeah. I mean, the bathroom wasn't bad. The beds weren't bad.
The Bible.
The Bible was okay. So
it was sticky.
We didn't touch it, so we don't know if it was sticky. Okay, so anyone that doesn't live in the U.S., every single hotel in the U.S. has a Bible in it. I believe it's New King James.
And if it's anything connected to the Marriott, there will also be a Book of Mormon or Gideon.
Yeah, so there's always one of those there, and us being, I mean, we're looking to put our stuff and everything, and then we open the Bible drawer because
it is a Bible drawer.
Yeah,
let's be honest.
It's literally like any hotel. Doesn't matter where you're at.
The drawer between the beds has a Bible.
Yeah. So we open it up. We see the Bible. It's a nice blue Bible, except for a weird
brown green smear.
Yeah,
there was a gleam to it.
It was dry, but it was gleamy. And we were like, let's just close that back.
The biological Mod Podge that might have been on the Bible.
Of course, I did open it once or twice just to be like, I need to study this.
I need to confirm this. And then we turned on the TV, and it was already on a Spanktravision channel. Yeah. Like we turned it on, and it's like, would you like to buy? What was it? Busty Sex Vixen 7 or something like that.
It was like or something.
Oh
like
my
that.
God.
And
you're gonna have to bleep that.
Oh, I already know my preacher watches this. Well, not my preacher, my mom's preacher, but I feel bad for that.
You're gonna bleep it, and it'll help you. But I mean, it's like, so Chris and I are both like, and I'm just staring at him because the only part of this trip that Chris planned is the hotel stay. And the whole time I'm saying, like, Chris could get his money back and we could go to the Hampton right across from the Battle Park. Like, I think we can pull this off. I think we could show up and just pay a little bit more.
God, I wish I would have done that because,
to be fair, it was one night. And I've mostly been busting your balls because of the hotel.
Yeah, just like the ricketiness of the hotel itself. But the beds were comfortable. Like, okay, so when we went to...
Air conditioner worked.
Yeah, the air conditioner worked. When we went to Moose and Trekie's wedding, Ruby and I stayed in a hotel that I did, and I did the same thing.
Uh-huh.
And the bed was extremely uncomfortable. The sheets were like 2-ply.
You slept in toilet paper.
I mean, that's the only way I can put it. It's just rough. And just...
Might I make a suggestion for you?
What's that?
Next time you stay in Lafayette, stay at the Drury Inn. They have breakfast and dinner included and 3 free drinks at dinner.
I might have to do that.
They have beer. usually one local and then like Budweiser, but also they will make you a whiskey and Coke, and you can get 3 whiskeys and Cokes for free at the Drury Inn and eat tacos.
I like tacos.
And whenever you have kids, which is why I stay at Drury Inns, not sponsored, is no matter what meal they have, like no matter what dinner they're cooking, there is always hot dogs and ketchup, which with little kids,
it works.
Out the freaking, you know what? Not gonna lie. I took taco meat and put it on top of my hot dog.
Oh, you did like, I'm going to be 5 years old. And
I made a chili dog, but that's also because I'm not gonna lie, Drury Inn has white people taco night.
It doesn't matter.
But they do have Chihulas.
I mean, come on. It doesn't matter if it tastes all right.
I'm only focusing on Drury Inn because I'm reminding myself on Thursday this week I will be down there because my son and I will be in Baton Rouge for MRI.
Yeah. Which, by the way, go donate to Children's Batson's Hospital, Extra Life, all that. But no, the hotel was fun. It wasn't like a bad stay. It wasn't in a bad part of town. It's just kind of a rickety old hotel.
We did see the front clerk making out with an old dude in a truck.
Yeah, we did see that. It was very hard to understand because she wasn't really like
super. She didn't look super into the kiss.
Well, I wasn't talking about I wasn't like focusing on that. Like that's their business. But when it comes to like I get there and I do the payment and she's just like speaking low and kind of like
she did mumble, and then I went to go check what the continental breakfast looked like, and she quickly closed the office door, and I'm like, you know what? I understand.
It's fair. And I'm not shitting on her.
No. Like
she probably gets paid like shit, and she's just like fucking.
Well, also be fair. Look at me.
Yeah,
I'm like around 6 foot tall, around 300 pounds, with a beard, and I'm as broad as a door. I look like a problem to a lot of people.
Right. I mean, we both kind of have that problem of looking like a problem,
which applies to the ghost hunt.
Yeah, which applies to the ghost hunt, but we'll get to that. So the room was quirky. It was an interesting part, but it wasn't like ruining.
It added flavor.
It added flavor
and aroma.
But we started our trip, which was an unexpected detour for me because I wasn't expecting to go here, and I haven't been here since I was a kid. But the Battle Park in Vicksburg,
which is huge, by the way.
It's fucking massive, and it's full of history.
We were there 2 hours, and a third of the park was landslided off.
Yeah, we couldn't go to most of the park.
But no, only a third. About.
Oh, right.
We couldn't go to Grant. We couldn't go to Grant's offices. We couldn't go to Sherman's offices or go along the tail end of the Union line because of a landslide. And they were firming or stabilizing. There we go, stabilizing by putting those big square gravel or those big square stone and gravel blocks like we saw in a couple places. Because if anybody that's not from down here doesn't know, Vicksburg is extremely hilly. It's where, like, if you're in Mound, Louisiana, it's 6 feet above sea level. When you get to Vicksburg, you're 300 feet above sea level. And that's because the loess that's carried off the Great Plains would be dropped where Vicksburg is. Once it got across the river, the wind would lose its momentum and it would drop all this stuff and just built up a hill and built up a hill and built up a hill. So that's why Vicksburg's so much higher. And that's one reason it was considered like really the Gibraltar of the South, is because it's just, if you're going through the river, there is just you look to the right, there's Louisiana. You could park your boat and walk up a fucking levee and it's fine. You look at Vicksburg and that's stairs, man. That's so many stairs. Like it
is like, I don't know if there's any place that's like super mountainous. And Mississippi, likely not.
No, it's hilly.
It is a stark contrast when you go from Louisiana to Mississippi.
Well, I mean, it's just like when we were going to pick up my brother-in-law's when they were in Sparta, Illinois, for that skeet shooting competition. Is when you leave Missouri, you are barely above the river, and when you get to Illinois on the other side,
it's just...
And I forget the name of that town, but it's the town where the dude who made Popeye is from.
Yeah, it is so wild because it is... like, again, it's similar to Mississippi and the Louisiana line, but it's also the same when you go Missouri into Illinois. It goes from, like, the most boring flat drive you've ever had into you cross that rickety-ass bridge that I'm very scared of.
You can see through down to the Mississippi through the drain ports.
Yeah, and the Mississippi is, like, 50 or more feet down.
200.
Yeah, I said 50 or more. I don't know what I'm talking about. But you go in there and immediately it's just like hills and everything. It's so wild. Like, that town is really cool too.
It is. They got Popeye statues. Yeah. Like, they're like, all of a sudden Chris is like, why is there a Wimpy statue next to the Burger King? And I went, oh wait, this is where they do who made Popeyes from.
Yeah. Also, something just because it popped up in my head, like when we went there, we did see a Lexus SC300, which was my first car, which sounds like really luxurious, having a Lexus as my first car.
But didn't yours have an 88 at the end of it?
No, it had a 95, and I got it for $1,500.
That's not much of a difference, but hey.
Yeah.
Anyway, back onto our subject. So we went to the battle park.
We went to the battle park, and I was like a kid again there because I was just so interested in everything and just learning. Relearning really, but just all the things that you could just sit there and see because everything is like commissioned from each state.
Yeah, right? Like that's the big thing is while it is a state battle park with some federal funding, the actual monuments from because when you first go in the park, you go down the Union line.
Yeah.
And all the monuments were paid for by their state and are actually maintained
by the state.
By their state. And then eventually, if we didn't have the landslide that blocked some stuff, you would be able to go around and cross to where near the Cairo is, and you'd follow where the Union line actually breached the Confederate line and went towards the city. But we crossed at the secondary breach.
Yeah. So what they do is when you're following the line, they have the markers, and it really gives you a sense of just how up close and personal war used to be.
Yeah, because when you go by the Illinois, the big dome, the rotunda from I think that's Illinois,
which has all the soldiers from.
It has all the commanding officers, and then underneath all the generals, then their colonels. And then each division's lieutenant, and then all the divisions are on their own placard.
Yeah,
and it is wild to go in there because it is.
It's it's what I expect walking into like a Greek Colosseum. Not a Colosseum.
Well, I mean, it's built the same way, but I liken it to walking into a mausoleum.
Yeah,
and then if you go 15 feet, 20 feet past that. You're where the Union line and the Confederate line were literally 5 feet from each other, so you could have popped up out the trench and slapped the guy across the way.
Yeah, it's so wild. There was actually points where when we were transitioning from the Union to the Confederate line, where you saw, because they have signs, it's red and blue signs, wasn't it?
Yeah, and you'd see the back of a blue sign 3 feet away from the front of the red sign.
Yeah, and it's it tells you everything. This is where they advanced, this is how many people died, this is how many people were injured,
and they also keep everything fairly well mowed, which God bless the Parks Department for doing that, because
even in places where they're so there are mounds where cannons used to be, and they used to be built up because they wanted to hide the cannons, and it's still built up, and they have the mock cannon.
You can still see the remnants of we didn't go to the redoubt. We didn't go underneath the railroad track to the redoubt. You can walk trench lines that are still 2 feet deep. One, they're 2 feet deep still because we keep walking them, and because the park's taking care of them. But it's so cool, for lack of a better term. Yeah. To go out there, because when you go where the Illinois or Indiana, where the rotunda is and where the house is and where the surrender site is, you are standing at a Union, and there's cannons there. There's a bunch of brass Napoleons, or replicas of them. And you stand there and you're looking across 300 yards of hilly terrain that 300 yards moving straight forward, that'd be a heck of a run. But I mean, you're going down, then up, down, then up, down, then up. And there was a creek that ran through the middle. I'm like, someone tells me I got to run across that. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah. And again, like for Americans, anyone that's listening outside of America, especially in Europe where there's just so much history, and Africa and
well, everywhere. Here's the bad thing. As a historian, I will go ahead and break the veil. There is history everywhere, including Antarctica, because that's where a dude removed his own appendix.
But it's just so wild to be there and just absorb all of the history, especially history that's very closely connected to
and you know what makes it even weirder? The number of dudes we saw just jogging through the park.
Yeah, like just people just chilling.
Like people just, well, I mean, the thing is the battle park only encompasses part of the actual battlefield. We drove down one of the roads because we took a wrong turn, and there are monuments and markers going through people's front yards. When we went to McRaven, if you look through the gate that was right to the railroad tracks, there were markers along the railroad tracks because literally the battling was about 60 yards from the front door.
And if you look towards the mass graves, which spoiler, there are mass graves out there, but I saw markers out there.
Yeah.
As well.
So I mean, they're everywhere in the city, not just in the actual saved battle park. So now big thing is we saw the Cairo.
Of course, if you're going to the battle park, you got to see the Cairo, which is an old Civil War warship that.
It's a Union ironclad that sunk in the Yazoo.
Yeah.
Sorry, not the Yazoo. I went northern for a second. That's the Yazoo River. Yeah. Not the Yazoo. The mermaid's going to come and slap me.
The mermaid's coming out. Don't say it like that.
Boy. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
But yeah, it's really cool. A lot of the structure has been recreated, but they still have the old engines.
They got the engines. They got chunks. Like most of the metal, like all the woodwork there is recreated. Yeah. And you can go into, like if you go off to the side, they dug into the hill a bit, and there is a museum dedicated to the Cairo. We didn't go in that day because I could not count the number of times I've been in that museum. And
I wasn't really interested in that. We also didn't go into the graveyard because we're both very superstitious in graveyards.
Well, the thing is that I don't like graveyard tours because that's where you lay the dead to rest. That's not a tourist attraction. Also, I'm going to go ahead and spoil something. The road that goes into that graveyard goes over unmarked graves.
Yeah.
And I'm not down with crossing a grave. That's me just personally.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big thing with me. I grew up, like, when I go to a graveyard, it's always going to be, like, if I'm walking towards a grave, I'm going to bob and weave around graves and make sure, like, I'm not walking on anybody. Because, I mean, it's not necessarily about, like, oh, the spirit's going to come out. Or
it's just disrespectful.
It just feels disrespectful, yeah. So we didn't go to that. We felt like it would have been disrespectful for us to walk around there.
They were about to actually do a graveyard tour when we went by.
But we left there. We went to our wacky hotel.
Dropped some stuff off.
And we went to
Key City Brewing.
Oh my God. It's so good.
So describe Key City is a microbrewery in downtown Vicksburg. They've been around for for almost a decade, I think. Almost a decade. But they also do their own wood fire pizzas. And that was almost as good as the beer. Because Chris and I both got flights. And I tried the Saison. You tried the Belgian.
I tried the Belgian. I tried their red. I tried...
the red is so good.
What is it? The amber they had. It's so hard to even think because all their beers were just so good.
There was one we were both kind of met on that we both got. It was the sour. It was one of the sours.
I mean, sours aren't really.
Hey, that's not our thing. That's not on them.
Yeah.
And then I got the Toulouse sausage. That was.
Oh, the sausage was. So
it was. So what they do, the menu at Key City changes very regularly because they do within 60 miles of Vicksburg farm to table. And so the Toulouse sausage was about almost a 12-inch link with some homemade mustard. And it was made with pigs taken from a farm about 20 miles north of Vicksburg. And it was fresh sausage. Like that was
so good.
I hate to say it this way, and if there's anybody that's a vegetarian out there, I'm sorry.
And we understand.
I'm not
but...
sorry that I ate this or that you're upset about this. I'm sorry you can't have this by your own choice.
Okay, look, I'm going to say this now. If you're vegan or vegetarian, I respect the choices. But
thank you for also leaving me more pork products to consume.
Yeah. But
it was
that sausage,
you could taste the oink. That's the reason I'm apologizing to all that I don't eat animal people, because you could taste it was so fresh, it was so rich, it was good fatty.
And I ended up getting, we got two sides. We got the sausage and I ended up getting the fried pickles because I'm fried pickles.
You're gonna have to bleep that again. I mean, we're literally goblins with some of the garbage we'll eat.
Oh yeah, definitely. And fried pickles is one of my favorite things, and I was a little bit disappointed they didn't have my favorite thing, which is ranch.
No, don't say the slur.
It's not a slur, it's just a joke, but they didn't
don't call yourself a ranch raccoon, okay? Oh shit, now I've said it.
You've said it.
Oh shit, oh dang, future Chris.
Future Chris, help us.
No, what you'll do is you'll just put in like the most like AI generated voice. Ranch raccoon.
But no, they had a dill caper sauce, which was
pretty good. Now there was one appetizer they didn't have. I wanted to get us because I was lucky to get the one piece that I got out of the three. Which, why do you give odd numbers? But they made corn fritters.
Oh,
that had corn and grits used to make everything, to make basically this corn hush puppy with an aioli.
That sounds so good.
But then we got the chicharron pork belly pizza.
Now, there was a pizza we were originally going to get, which was a leek.
Creamy garlic leek, which I still want.
Yeah. I know it sounds weird, but if you see the description of it, like, it sounded really good, but we were...
But our amazing waitress.
By the way, the service there, amazing.
10 stars. I don't care if you say it's only 10 stars.
Like, they came over, like, whenever the waitress wasn't there, we had other staff come in.
Like, the dude that immediately refilled our water...
And and they would grab plates if we didn't need it. Like it was amazing. Like, and it wasn't like
we were there about an hour and a half, and we got great service continuously. Then we both got beers. You got a red, and I got a Prost.
Yeah. No, I got a red. I got the.
Did you get a Prost too, or because I drank?
No, you got the Prost because you got that, and you got the Pilsner.
Yeah, I stuck to lighter beers because I was driving.
And. Oh wait, no, I got the.
No, you got the other session. You got the higher gravity session that was a little bit bitter.
Man, it's so hard to remember because there was like every beer there. I was just.
And then so like I'll be honest, I tipped 50 or 60% of my bill. And
I think I tipped 20%.
And then I bought another like $60 worth of.
Yeah, I also.
You know, no, I tipped more because I straight up handed her $50. Like I handed her $50 cash.
You were just like, I got money.
It's not that I got money. One, I had cash for like one of the first times I ever had cash on me, but she gave us.
I'm not saying that you were like, oh, I'm balling. You're just like, I have this for.
Well, here's the thing: is for anybody that's listening, tip your wait staff. Always tip them, and if you have cash, give that to them because a lot of times if they take card, they have to report it on taxes. Fuck that. If you don't pay the minimum wage, they shouldn't have to pay taxes on tips. So I handed her that because one, she recommended the pizza for us. Two, she recommended one of the beers for me, and she knew everything. And if there was like, we asked her about one beer, and she went to the back immediately and went, "We don't have that one. I'm sorry."
Yeah, she was.
And then recommended
knowledgeable
an alternative.
And And she also was just personable because we were talking about, going on a ghost hunt. And then we had like a funny...
And then all the lights on our side of the restaurant went out. And she looked at both of us and then turned and looked at the staff and like, one dude behind the bar. I don't know.
And we just started making jokes. I think we literally, and I use the term literally here, we tipped as much, and I'm going to use restaurant terms here, we tipped as much as an 8-top would.
No, it's for a 2-person table, she got probably close to an $80 tip.
Yeah.
Because I also tipped on the beer.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's like we understand that like you can't always go to a place and be able to tip really well, but like
this was your birthday.
Yeah. And this is a great place to tip.
But so I mean like one, because we probably need to move off of the food before this becomes a food blog or vlog, but it's if anybody's in Vicksburg and you go downtown, go to Key City, amazing pizza, great beer, wonderful service, and it's in a building that actually was shot by a cannonball during the Civil War. So I mean, because it's in downtown Vicksburg, like you can see the river.
Like it's okay. There are a lot of buildings like it around the South sporadically, but it's like a very open building, so you can actually get a place like on the side near the road, and you can kind of like see.
They have a garage door that opens up, so you can actually have air coming in. They also have the original chandeliers in the brewery section.
Yeah. It's very low lighting too, which is really nice. But after doing that, we chilled for a minute.
Yeah.
But we decided to, get in the mood of
watch some. We now since then we've watched the McRaven House Ghost Hunters Adventures, which was Ghost Adventures. Let me go ahead and say this: it's bullshit.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
But. Like it would have been better if that had been the episode on, it would have been so apropos. So we watched that, got ourselves hyped, and then rode in my unair conditioned 2001 Mazda Dual Sport.
Well, yeah, we went there. Well, first we went there after McRaven House just to make sure we know where we went, and then we went there and we met one of 2 ghost tourists.
We got there back for our ghost hunt. When we got there for the late night tour. So what McRaven House does is there's regular history tours during the day.
Right. I got ahead of myself.
Sorry, there's regular history tours during the day because it's one of the oldest houses in Vicksburg. It was actually built when Vicksburg was still known as Walnut Hills.
Right.
And so they do those tours during the day, and then they do one haunted tour when it gets closer to night, and then the last one when you do at 8, you do the ghost tour, and then you have the house until 2 a.m. Which was so dope, even though like the thing that they reminded us is if you hear certain noises, remember that we are in the really bad section of Vicksburg. To quote one of the ghost tour guides, we are in the hood. If you hear certain noises, it is not ghosts shooting guns. It might be the neighborhood. And I'll be honest, that neighborhood was not bad. That we have been in, we've slept in worse.
Like I wasn't really like worried when I went there. There was some like when we first went there, it was really cool because we saw a bunch of people just hanging out.
They had a block party. Okay, the house that they were in, which is also probably almost 100 years old now.
Yeah.
So, okay, first off, when you turn down the road to McRaven, which is now Jefferson Street or something, I believe so, they've renamed it. When you turn down that street, where you turn used to be the front gate of the house's property because it used to be about 15 acres. It was 15 acres. They had a 300-acre plantation in Louisiana, or the family did, but. So we come by and there's some people who are just straight up enjoying themselves.
Yeah, no.
Smoking some very rank habituant with some Backstreet Boys reunion tour named beer. Listening to actually pretty decent music. Like it was not bad.
It was pretty good. I was like, it actually kind of reminded me of like when we were in our 20s and just
like everybody just having like
we didn't really smoke, but
no, well I didn't.
I mean, when I hung out with you, I didn't. I don't really smoke anymore.
You just like them gummies?
Even the gummies, I'm not really a huge fan of.
Oh, so if there's anybody that actually listens to us in California, watch out for the 100 milligram ice cream cone end gummies, because they are advertised almost as a 100-calorie snack pack in gas stations. You will see some deity of your choice if you eat the whole bag thinking it's a 100-calorie snack pack. Just putting a warning out there, because I saw that on the TikToks.
Yeah.
But we went there. We got there at night, and then you started making fun of me.
Because you got scared by a statue of a deer.
Okay, you saw that. You have a picture of that bug-eyed motherfucker in the dark.
It is so crazy because it's like, it does kind of pop out, but like you screamed like...
I didn't scream, I jumped.
You screamed like a little kid.
I didn't scream.
Well,
I jumped
like a little kid. Like...
Yes, I did, because like if I had screamed, everybody that was at the back of that house would have said something.
Yeah, and...
I'm loud.
So we went up there, and we initially got there when there was already a tour going. I forget the name of the guy that...
Michael.
Michael
was
right.
the tour guide. And what was the name of the ghost hunter that was there?
Brian.
Brian. Okay.
If we get the names wrong, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, if you listen, add us, send us, because honestly, both of us absolutely 100% want to do another ghost hunt.
Yeah.
Even if it's a touristy ghost hunt at McRaven House, we would also really love to do a not touristy ghost hunt at McRaven House.
Overall, like, I'm just gonna spoil it here. It was really fun. Both ghost hunters were really cool.
Well, we went with Michael.
Yeah, we went with Michael.
Now, let's differentiate. Michael is a current employee of McRaven House.
Yes.
And is a tour guide that is there for an 8-hour shift.
Yeah.
Plus, he gets paid overtime for doing a ghost hunt.
And Brian is part of I believe,
Mississippi. He's the head. He is the founder of the Mississippi Paranormals, or whatever their actual name is, which, sorry, Brian, if you're listening to this, you'll probably bitch at us, because I'm pretty sure when you heard our original version of the McRaven House podcast, we're going to have some redactions.
Yeah, now, this is a good time to say that, like, you know, we don't get a lot of interaction on social media, mostly because I haven't really set up social media much. Sorry, I'm lazy.
And I'm also a Luddite over here.
Yeah, but if there's anything that we get wrong, we have no problem correcting ourselves. In fact, that's probably going to be an episode we do in the future where we just...
Except that we will never apologize for the goddamn Luton.
We're not going to apologize for the Luton.
Or the Latesh.
Or the Latesh.
Parlengua.
But...
But we will never apologize for those. Fuck both of them. One of them we believe in, the other one's bullshit. And it's the Luton is real.
But Brian, being the head of the Mississippi Paranormal Society, I believe that's the name, he was the one to send us through initially.
He did, and you know what? He took time because there was us.
Yeah.
There was the group we went with that was like mom, and 3 college-age girls. And then there was the other group that had, which I'll mention this. I don't know if you were over them. The dad was, when mom and then was talking to stepdad and daughter. So mom and daughter, and then stepdad was, because he was obviously stepdad. They started making jokes about jinn. And he's like, you don't laugh about jinn. Jinn are real. And they're like, jinn aren't real. Genies aren't real. No, genies are not real. Jinn is real. And the only reason I'm doing that accent is that's how he sounded. And the whole time I'm over here like, dude, I'm looking at him like, I will back you up on this shit. Don't fuck with jinn.
It's like, again, it comes into the Louisiana, or as we said, the Southern skeptic, which is, you know, it might not be real, but I'm not going to fucking test it.
You know what? I'm not fucking with a jinn.
Yeah.
I'm not fucking with the jinn, because there's too many things connected to jinn that are jacked up that I really do not want to deal with. One of which is by Neil Gaiman, and it tastes like cinnamon.
But yeah, so Brian led us around the house, and it was an interesting...
You know what? The house is really cool. So let's give some history of the house. The house was built in 3 stages. I'll be honest. My house is not much smaller the McRaven House.
It's crazy because you look at the house from the outside and you think it's going to be a huge house, but
It's really not, but at the same time, it has. So here's the deal. I live in about just shy. I live like 1,800 square feet in my house, something like that. But the thing that you got to remember is that plantation owners, because most of the people that owned McRaven House, and if we ever get to go to the ghost tours down in Natchez, which is I think the next thing I'm planning for a birthday for you, is that the town plantation house or the townhouse is small. But plantation houses were also not that big, because the big thing about the plantation is you have all this land that's being worked. The bigger the house, the less land to be processed. So these people were living in this house in town, which they had a brickwork, a lumber mill, a carriage house, and a ironworks on their 15 acres of property in what is now the heart of Vicksburg, but would have been the edge of Vicksburg. So you look at it and you think, oh, it's a mansion, it's a plantation house. You're thinking, Mr. Condé lives here. And if you watch the movie Django Unchained, the Condé Manor is still not a massive house by today's standard. It's tall. Like if you go to the Myrtles,
it's tall.
I mean, the Myrtles is not a massive.
Well, you can even look at
I hate to say this, the Velasca Axe Murder House has more square footage than McRaven.
Well, I was going to say, you can even look at houses around here that were built in the 30s and 40s, and they don't have a lot of square footage, but they're tall.
No, that's because we didn't have air conditioning. But in any case, so it was built in 3 phases. There was the original phase built before the 1800s, built in the 1700s with was it Andrew Glass? Andy Glass. Andy Glass.
The guy that apparently got his throat slit.
And then the next edition was made by the sheriff, and I cannot remember his last name. And then there's the Bobs who built the next stage. And the thing is, the first one is just a brick 2-story home, bedroom upstairs, kitchen downstairs, had a balcony with a ladder that you could pull up, which I'm still not sold on that one.
Yeah. Well, what's weird is that I was looking at you look at everything and then you look at the house itself, and it's like, okay, I can now, because when we originally did the McRaven House as an episode, I was trying to picture that, and when I was in there,
you saw it.
Then I saw it, I was like, okay, yeah, this. I mean, it might be dressed up a bit because it's now a location.
They've renovated it, but the thing is, you can still see the very different architecture styles, because there's Greek Revival. I forget what the middle one was, and then there's the original Colonial, and it is 3 very distinct.
Very strange, because there's even like doors you would open that like you would have to step up to, because it's nothing is necessarily.
Well, I mean, you're 6'4", 6'5", and I'm at or just under 6 foot.
You're about 6'1", actually.
So I mean, when I step down, like, okay, the stairs up, not bad. The step into the house from the lower porch and the step down to the upper porch, I had to pay attention, and both of us. You held the door, and then I stayed by in case anybody had to grab my hand, because we had a bunch of like 5'4" to 5'6" ladies in our group. So I mean, and I can only imagine. Like, I hate to say this, the house would look so much cooler and so much better if they still had the wraparound porch that got shot off by cannons.
Oh yeah,
because
I mean, but that's something that they really couldn't help. But,
no, they couldn't. But also, if y'all go there, the windows to the front of the house and the windows to the back or to the sides of the house, especially the north facing side that doesn't have the porch anymore. The reason they're so big is those windows were literally doorways.
Yeah. So
you would open them all the way and step out because there was no air conditioning. The house is beautiful.
It is.
The grounds are okay. Let me put it this way: the grounds are like old Southern boomer white lady shrubs everywhere, and like those might have,
and also just Like, why do we need all these trees
You'll
here?
fucking trip on the stones and the walkway that aren't level anymore.
Yeah.
And there is no bathroom in most of the house. There is a bathroom for staff downstairs where there's a modern kitchen, which was built by Mr. French. We addressed that. The former privy out back is both a men's and a women's restroom, but the men's room was broken. So we all had to wait very patiently so we did not...
What's really great is, like, there's a actual latrine.
Like you see the double. It's a double seater. Is the thing that's funny. It's like we're gonna hold hands while we shit, honey. That was the original outhouse, and then there's a modern bathroom to the left.
Yeah, you walk in there, you see this nice ornate little latrine sort of deal, and then you look the other way, and it's like it's just a modern toilet.
Yeah, and it's one of those. I'm going to use the modern toilet because also they've completely concreted in the actual privy.
Yeah.
So I mean, the grounds are great. I really wouldn't mind seeing it in daylight because it's still on over an acre of land.
Now, this is something I want to ask. Do you want to talk about like the first little experience?
You know, yeah. You know what, Chris? Did you have any real experiences there?
I feel okay. So this is how I like categorize any like paranormal experience. Is that like I see it as an experience. I don't want to say it's a ghost. Because
did you experience anything there?
I did experience something.
Ooh, tell me.
Okay, so on one hand, like when it comes to the spirit box, I know people talk about the spirit box, and I understand that there is.
Well, and I'm sorry because I know that somebody said I interrupt you a lot on this, but explain the method we used with the spirit box real quick.
Okay, so the Estes method is. Instead of having the spirit box be open to everybody to hear, only one person can hear the spirit box. And we do this by having like earphones and essentially drowning out everyone. If you're doing the Estes method, everyone else can't hear you. Or you can't hear everyone else,
and I'm the one who did it the most on the.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this: it is complete sensory deprivation in a super weird way. Yeah. Like it, okay. So some of it could be pareidoia when you hear it, but
there was a few times like that. I'm going to put this for me because I know for you it was a lot higher. It was for me. It was like the lowest level of stuff because there was a few times where I heard voices in the in it where I was like, "This is weird," because there was a noticeable drop. Because when you listen to it, it's just a bunch of noise, a bunch of sounds. But when you actually heard something, it's like. You hear a drop first, and then you hear a word, or you hear a phrase, or you hear something like that, and then it's like, oh.
It doesn't sound like everything.
Yeah, it doesn't, like, because my whole understanding of it is, like, when you hear it go through everything, you just hear, like, radio channels like spitting out shit because
not gonna lie, the number of times we heard Donald Trump spewing bullshit.
Yeah, or you just heard political bullshit.
Or you heard a car dealership.
Or you heard like music.
By the way, Canon dealership has a fantastic deal on Fords right now throughout the state of Mississippi.
Yeah, it was a lot of stuff like that, but there was times where it's like very clear. And there was a few times with that. I'm not saying it's evidence of ghosts, but where what I said correlated with what was happening in the oldest portion.
You got a lot more when we were dealing with Andy.
Yeah, when Andy was in there, I was just sitting there because at that point my eyes were closed.
Didn't we piss Andy off?
I think we kind of pissed Andy off. I don't know. Like, it's one of those things that if ghosts are real, I pissed Andy off. I think the biggest thing is I was in the threshold and where Mr. French used to sleep.
When you were in the doorway.
Yeah, because that was where you had your experience.
No, mine was downstairs.
Oh no, yeah, yours was downstairs.
Mine was in the parlor.
And I was doing that. I didn't hear anything on there, but that's when I felt like something
touch your back.
It didn't just touch my back. It felt like something was like lifting up my shirt, which is weird. And I will say I had like sporadic weird things happen, but I didn't want to say anything because we need to talk about this because apparently everyone thought we were part of the.
Okay, so yeah, we should address that. So, one, I'm going to state this. I was wearing one of my pairs of blue jeans and I ripped the back of them because they were 8 years old. And so I bought a pair of new shorts. I'm actually wearing those shorts right now and they are solid black. And I'm also wearing the shirt I wore that night, which is, I'm
actually wearing the Gojira shirt.
We are wearing a ghost hunting gear. I'm wearing a shirt that says it's not a dad bod, it's a father figure. So I'm wearing all black. I have a beard that is damn near 3 inches long at this point. You've shaved. You've trimmed up.
I've trimmed up a little bit, but I haven't shaved the beard.
And so Chris and I are wearing all black. The ghost hunter, Mr. Brian, who is smoking a cigarette, we're sitting there having full-on conversations with him because all of a sudden we're all interested in the same thing. Also, we started talking shit on Zach Baggins, and everybody was down for that one.
Yeah, and the thing is, we're sitting there talking with Brian and Michael about like just ghost hunting stuff and just about our because our podcast
and our friends who are in the vampire scene in New Orleans, and
so
like
we're having this
we're the really weird big white dudes that have shown up. Like we're the Abbott and Costello of fucking ghost hunting over here.
So everyone just looks at us and assumes we're part of the ghost.
They
hunters.
Asked us that, like,
yeah.
So like, oh my god! So they're doing this, and we're sitting there talking with Brian, and he's a dope dude smoking a cigarette. And like, I haven't smoked in almost 20 years now. And I'm saying like, he keeps hitting those things like they're delicious and I want one, which by the way, anybody that is clean of smoking like you, like me, more power to you. Keep going strong. Okay.
We resisted.
We did.
I am over 10 years at this point.
You know, he was smoking baseball bats. He was smoking Marlboro Reds. He was smoking Spike Spiegel cigarettes. And that's what I hit heavy back in the early 2000s. But, no, so like all the ladies that were in our group just immediately thought you and I were in the ghost hunting crew. So we did the whole tour and then we get to the dining room and one of the lights starts flickering, which my explanation is the train came by. It shook the connection on the old light because it was the lights built into the lights were built into the buffet that held all the silverware and stuff. And I'm saying that caused shaking, that caused the flicker, but all the ladies there moved very quickly. And then all of a sudden, one of them said something about the floor moving. And you and I were looking at each other because we had felt the floor move. And all of a sudden, I look down, there's an air register. And the air register is also by you. And I'm like, oh, there's an air register that runs underneath this old-ass wooden floor. Because we know
we're not being verbal here.
No, we're doing this. And, like, we're communicating. You're like, it's like, and I said, like, I think I might have said, it's the air vent.
Yeah.
And so immediately all the ladies that were in our group thought we're part of the ghost hunting crew. And I think we said 3 times we're not because we were the most active. Because I'm saying like, I was told not to be, I was not supposed to be adversarial. We weren't supposed to provoke. And I'm saying like, I am ready to throw hands with Andy Glass.
Like I said, there are a few times where I was like, you know, you feel the chill, you feel something moved up my shirt, but I didn't say anything about it because I was very scared of being like over.
Oh no, you're playing it up.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this now. I don't think it's like a big thing.
No.
I think our tour guides were like playing it up a bit.
Okay,
only to like try
to vibe everybody for what we're doing because let's be honest, Mama fell asleep in the parlor's floor. I'm not there. This lady, lovely lady, all the people that were with us were great. Mama fell asleep while we were in the parlor, which is that kind of segues. There were 3 things I noticed while I was there. Right. So the first one was when we were walking around outside and you noticed that I spun and stared at a window very quickly.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck are you doing?
You're like, I think the air conditioner's moving the curtain. And you're like, Hewitt, there's no curtain. I'm like, I think the air conditioner moved a curtain in the master bedroom. Because
and then we went up there.
And then we went up there and you're like, Hewitt, there's no curtain up here. Shut the fuck up, Chris. It was a curtain. So I saw something move in front of the window and the tour wasn't in that section of the house at the time. Now, kind of connected to that, the other time when we took a break and we're in the front of the house, I thought I saw something move through the garden. That's when you saw me walk off. Remember when I started walking very intently towards a very dark section of the garden?
Yeah, yeah.
I think I kind of saw something. I'm like, fuck you, I'm walking over here.
Yeah.
So I learned something about myself at McRaven House. I'm the ghost hunter. It's like, oh, I saw you. I'm following you, ghost. So it's just like I just need the meme of like the little or like the anime character running, and then behind it's like the Terminator running. And it's like the ghost Hewitt. Because I went over that when you're like, what? I think my eyes played tricks on me. But the next two, one of them, and I feel bad because the 18-year-old, the baby in the group who, like, I remember she asked Michael, how old do you think I am? 14? I'm 18. I'm over here like, I'm out. I'm leaving before someone dies. I will go down the stairwell that my shoulders touch the walls on.
By the way, we talked about it. I just want to emphasize, we felt like we were Gandalf and Hobbiton. Yeah.
Okay, so Chris is, like I said, you're like 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah.
The railing in the main part of the house was plumb depth. Which
it was halfway down my thigh.
It was.
It just,
for anybody out there, plumb depth. I hope you know what that is. If not, I was just shy of something deep on the railing. So like, if I shifted the wrong way, I'm going over, and I'm sitting there like, Chris is like a bit taller than me. If he shifts, that's mid thigh. He's tripping. He's dead. Chris is dead, and he's the new ghost at McRaven House. But the back stairwell, I had to walk down the back stairwell sideways.
Yeah.
And like one of the ladies made fun of me until I turned. Do you remember when I did this? I turned and my right shoulder's on the wall and my left shoulder was hitting the handrail that was way too high for such a fucking small. I'm like, literally, I will wedge myself and we will all die when the ghost shows up. That's the t-shirt. I'll wedge myself and the ghost will kill us all. So, but when we were in there, and the youngest one, the young lady that was 18, she was sitting next to Andrew Glass's bed, and they kept talking about he would reach out from under it and grab people. Now, my explanation for this is Michael moved, and the air conditioner started blowing onto the old bed.
Right.
But I watched a dark form go across the bed and start going for her, and that's because I had the thermal cam at that point. And I went, hey, honey, you might want to scoot more towards your grandma real quick. Why? The bed's getting real cold real quick, and there's one appendage looking thing sticking out. And again, 100% I think this was just the bed started cooling at an uneven rate, but she started scooting because I'm sitting there like, one, I'm about to be 40. I'm a grown ass man. If a ghost is about to grab an 18-year-old, I'm going to throw hands with a ghost.
I'm going to beat that ghost ass.
I'm going to beat that ghost ass. Like, I am the father of a little girl. Ghost, you going to touch a woman without asking? I will somehow find a way to make ecto knuckles and start boxing you.
Right.
So then that happened, and those I can everything, those two I can write off. The one I can't write off is when we were in the parlor and I was doing the spirit box, and I was directly in front of the door that leads to the foyer that leads to the front door, like the stairwell and all that. And all of a sudden I heard move. All right, whatever, move. And it kept going through, move. Like, it got more intent, and then all of a sudden, damn it, move. I'm like, radio doesn't say damn it. And it kept going. I was like, shot, saw, move.
I remember this because I was just hearing you doing that. I'm next to you and I'm next to Grandma, and I'm just sitting there like, he's really picking up a lot of stuff, and I'm just sitting there chilling. And then Michael's like, hey, why don't you check out that stuff over there? And I'm like,
no, the thing is that the last one I said is like, damn it, move. And then from my belt loop to the back of my skull went cold, and I felt something push into me. And so then Chris starts laughing because my fat ass starts butt cheek walking towards the couch he's sitting next to. And remember, that's also when the door behind Michael rattled.
Oh yeah.
And so
then we heard
the REM pod start. Like, I didn't hear the REM pod, and everybody's like, I take it off, and I'm like, hey, who wants to use the spirit box real quick? It hissed that because like the last thing I heard was a.
I did hear the hiss.
And then I handed it to you, and it's not the static. It was not radio static. It was like an intentional hiss, and then I gave it to you, and then we gave it to someone else, and she heard the hiss until Michael got out from in front of the door because it was the family after the Bobs. Their son died, and they used the door to hold his casket.
Yeah.
Like, they put it on sawhorses and used it to hold his casket up. So he was in front of the door that a dead body went out. I was in front of the door that they brought Confederate wounded through.
Yeah.
So I want to write it off as maybe psychosomatic, but I almost really can't because
the way I
also remember the lady that had the because first off, I'm going to say this, the dowsing rods are bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay, when I used the dowsing rods, they were bullshit. But
I used the dowsing rods, and I didn't really get anything from it.
Well, we don't have steady hands. Like we have like a slight tremor.
Yeah.
But when we gave it to the other lady, they moved towards me when it told me to move. Remember?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, okay.
Which again is very. It's not really evidence.
It's coincidental at best, but it was enough for me to go. I'm moving,
Yeah.
and then you opened. It's like, hey, go open up that giant Bible. He's like, he asked me, hey, can you open that giant Bible? I was like, I'm not touching 130-year-old Bible.
Being the non-religious person, I'll open that Bible.
Well, no, this is me as a historian. I don't want to touch old documents without gloves.
Yeah, me not being a historian.
And then you pulled out, and he started going over who died in that room, and I'm like, well, fuck.
It's like,
woo. So this is what I'm going to say. I had what I feel was a legit.
Yeah, I think I had some very interesting experiences.
Two things I would have preferred. One, please warn me that my ass is too tall to use the handrail.
Look, everything you need to warn us about is not because of ghosts, it's because we're fucking tall.
The second, no. The second one is warn me when my ass is actually standing on top of a mass grave, not the sidewalk.
Yeah, so we did go and look at the mass grave. I was very scared to walk around there because...
Oh, dude.
Like,
Everybody trying to say that, like, they saw something. We saw nothing over at the mass grave. The other group had some obvious interaction on the mass grave.
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to get into something, and this isn't really a supernatural experience, but I just felt uncomfortable there going towards that.
It's a grave.
Yeah. Like, and I think this might be the most psychosomatic thing is because I just don't like being over the dead's grave. Like, it's just...
Okay, I've been to several spots that have mass graves and found out I was standing on them. One, I don't like mass graves. I feel that everybody needs to be buried individually or cremate them or sky burial them. Give everybody their own individual plot to respect the dead.
You're right.
And there's no supernatural element to that. The superstition probably does. That sponsored this in me. But also, don't tell me I'm standing on it when I'm on it because I'm pissed because I've already stated 3 times while we're there I don't want to stand on top of a grave.
Right, yeah. That's
because, one, Confederates lost, Confederates were wrong, Confederates committed treason. I'm going to, as a historian, a Southern historian, I'm going to go out there and say that. Give the Confederate soldiers the respect they had still by not treating their grave like shit.
It's like, just give the dead its due.
Just, like, always give the dead their due. Always respect them. Because it cost you nothing.
Yeah. But with having said that, I think McRaven House was fun.
I think it was fun. I'm going to actually, and you know what? I think I'm at 50-50 at this point. I think finally by episode 40, whatever we're at, I'm at 50-50.
I think 41.
I think I'm 50-50 on real or not. I'm going to say McRaven House is actually haunted.
You know what? Like, I'm very skeptical about hauntings, but if there is a house that is haunted, I would say McRaven House is one of them.
Oh shit! That is a huge step.
Yeah. Like, look, I experienced some things that are weird, and it could have been a psychosomatic thing. It could have just been,
But
it could have just been a coincidence. But
safe bet though, we want to go back.
Oh, I'm going to fuck that.
You know what? We need to go back and we need to take Ruby.
I don't know if she would do it.
Oh, dude, she'll do it for me. She'll do it out of love for me. She won't do it for you. You're just her husband.
I do want to thank the Mississippi Paranormal Society. I want to thank Brian and Michael for being such cool people.
I want to thank the McRaven House for what they are offering, what they're doing. I want to thank the Key City Brewing for everything they're doing.
Yeah. Go to Vicksburg. Go to Key City Brewing. Go to McRaven House. Go to the Battle Park. Have fun. There are great places in the South that are fun for everybody. And so
We are Backwoods Obscura. We are finally up on damn near every social media account. This will be up on YouTube on the Backwoods Obscura YouTube account sometime in the near future. It is
now Backwoods Obscura.
Not Graveflower.
Yeah.
So we'll do that. And also, we are connected to Team Bonus Action, a charity live play, online play, tabletop RPG, and video game group. Currently, we are partnered with Extra Life and Children's Batson's Hospital through Extra Life. Make any donations to us, they'll go directly to them to help parents pay medical bills, and we're getting into the Christmas season. So please allow a parent to not have to make the hard decision between medical bills and a child's Christmas gift or paying rent or their mortgage. So if you can do that, we would greatly appreciate it.
Yeah. Have a good day or night or whatever time it is there.
Wow.